Hey y'all, let's cook some dinner. Hey everyone, so the next 2 nights we need to use up some barbecue sauce. We just had a barbecue dinner the other night and I made a fresh batch of this and now we have a ton left over. So we're gonna do 2 meals that will hopefully use up all of our leftover barbecue sauce and then it won't be in the fridge going bad. Okay, night 1, we're gonna do pizza, and our kids are going to have just a regular red sauce mozzarella cheese pizza, and my husband and I are going to do a barbecue chicken pizza because we have barbecue chicken and barbecue sauce left over. And I also have half an onion to use, and it's not a red onion, but it'll do. So my daughter has helped me mix up my flour and salt. I have my yeast and sugar and water proofing here. And then we're gonna mix this up, and this dough doesn't rise. It's super easy. I'll link it below. Okay, so we buy our cheese in massive 5-pound blocks, and it's really great. It allows us to buy a higher quality cheese, but we do have to grate them. Okay, so now my yeast is nice and foamy. Just gonna make sure all the sugar is dissolved because we do use a pretty coarse sugar. Pour that in. This dough is really so easy. It doesn't need really, just enough to get it smooth, but it is just so simple and quick. This makes a very, very easy pizza crust. So as soon as I get it to where it's sort of just shaggy, I will switch to using my hands. And then I'm just gonna knead it until it's smooth. I'm going to divide this in 2 because it's supposed to be 2 pizzas, and I do need to flour my surface quite a bit. Sometimes this dough comes out really dry, and today for some reason it's very hydrated. So I'm gonna make sure I have my counter floured. And I'm also gonna cornmeal my trays that they're gonna bake on. I buy our cornmeal in bulk and I store it in a gallon downstairs, and then I have this ½ gallon that we keep up here in our kitchen, and I just refill this when it runs out. I like having 2-step storage because that tells us when to order next. So if we just had it up here in the kitchen and ran out of cornmeal, since Azure only comes once a month, I could potentially end up not having any cornmeal for quite a while. But now I just order if I run out downstairs in the basement. And then I just score the dough with a knife all over so it doesn't get big air pockets, and then I bake it in the oven. The recipe calls for 475. I always do it at 450 because I have an irrational fear of turning my oven up that high. And now I'm going to put the sauce on the pizzas. I have a regular red pizza sauce for my kids' pizza because they're not very adventurous. And then I'm going to use the last of this barbecue sauce and some of our other barbecue sauce on this pizza. Good morning, everyone. It is a Friday morning. Today, I am going to do a slow cooker Texas pulled pork. I've never done this recipe before, but I've done pulled pork in the slow cooker loads of times. I need a quick recipe because I actually have plans this evening. I have like a Galentine's event, so we're going out to dinner with some ladies. My husband will be home with the kids, so I thought I would make sure that dinner is taken care of. I also have leftover buns from the night that we did hamburgers. I froze them, and they will be nice. Sometimes they can get a little dense after they've been frozen, but when you're putting a really saucy meal on them, like pulled pork with barbecue sauce and all that, they're fine. So, also, before I get to cooking, I just want to say I discovered my comments the other day. I thought nobody was commenting, and I was actually laughing with my husband about, like, I was getting all these views on some of these shorts and even some of the longer form videos. And I was just like, man, I guess just nobody has anything to say. Well, I discovered that the comments were waiting for review. So if you commented, I probably responded the other day. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to reach out. That just blows my mind. And I'm so happy to have you here. Anyway, without further ado, let's get this in the crock pot because it's already 10:10. It's a small pork cut, so I don't think it'll take very long to cook, but it's always better when it gets to go low and slow. So my favorite kitchen hack is using a cheese grater on the small holes for grating my garlic. I love the consistency it makes, and you can even find little small cheese graters that you can devote to just this, and then you rinse it right away, and it's so easy to wash. And then here's my roast. It's from our half pig that we bought. And this was a new one. They had this marking on it, and I guess I'm glad it's up to inspection, but it was kind of gross, so I cut it off. And then I started layering everything in the crock pot. This came together really easily and was pretty enjoyable to do, honestly. I love throwing things in a crock pot and just letting them cook. So we have the brown sugar here that we make at home with molasses and sugar. Then here is some of our barbecue sauce as well as my oldest child. And that's our home canned broth going in there. Next is our apple cider vinegar, which we buy in gallon containers. And last is our spices. On this day, I had to refill my little container in the kitchen because we had run out. Okay, so everything is in there. I was a little bit lazy and I probably should have mixed it in a bowl and then drizzled it over top, but actually the recipe just said to put it all in like that, and I really didn't want to get an extra dish dirty. So I'm gonna be in the kitchen all morning long doing the kids' lessons for school, so I can come in here and stir this up as it starts to, melt down and all that. Also, I want to show you this. I just got this yesterday. Maybe you've seen one of these before. I had not. I saw it in a video the other day. It's got this little hole in the bottom. So you pour your drippings from your crock pot in here, and it separates all the grease. And I just think that's genius. Up till now, I have sort of avoided crock pot recipes that have super flavorful broths because I always feel like the drippings are too greasy and they just get wasted. We don't end up using them in a pan sauce or a gravy or anything like that. So like for my pulled pork, I would just do like a root beer pulled pork, and then it kind of gets strained, and then most of the juice just comes from what's in the meat and barbecue sauce. So with a recipe like this, it has so much good stuff in the pot that you definitely don't want to waste it. So I didn't want to do this recipe until this thing came in, and it came in yesterday from Amazon just in time. So hopefully it works. I bought kind of a cheap one because I am on a budget, and we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited. Okay, this pork was a 10 out of 10. We will definitely make it again. I will link the recipe below. And this gadget was just also super helpful, so that's a win. Thank you so much for hanging out this week. If you're new, please say hi below. I would love to meet you. And also, I would love to hear how you guys use your extra barbecue sauce. Have a great week.